Gurl.
Hi, Colleen.
Hi, Colleen.
Girl, you're tripping.
Girl, so are you.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Wait, should we have done mushrooms for this? Should we record an episode while on mushrooms one day? That'd be so funny.
That would be hilarious. I feel like maybe near the end
because I feel like we should, because we always have like
such profound, but it has to be like near the end, because I know for both of us when mine hits in quick when the thing, and then Kelly's like, forever. I don't feel it, and then all of a sudden she's like, whoa.
Yes, because I keep taking more too. That's a lesson I have to learn, is like, it for some reason digests very slowly for me every time we've done mushrooms together. It hits you immediately. It'll be like 5 seconds later and you're like, I think I'm feeling it.
I'm like, yep.
And then an hour later I'm like, I think I need to take more. I don't feel it. Whoa. We'll get into it because we have many stories to tell. But today we are talking about supplements.
Yes.
And all the different trips that we've gone on together and separately.
Yeah, wink, wink. Supplements,
yes. Wink, wink. Yeah, we've had some very profound trips together.
The supplements, like that specific one, that is my girl.
That's my girl.
That's
too.
My medicine.
And we already talked in our, I think it was our first episode, one on our friendship breakup. Yes. We talked about the stories that we tell ourselves. That was such a huge breakthrough that we had one day on mushrooms, where she was telling herself that trees were going to turn into aliens and kidnap us, and I was telling myself that she hated me. And it was such a big breakthrough conversation that we had, that like we reference a lot in our friendship, because we do end up telling ourselves a lot of stories that like disconnect us in our friendship, but also in just relationships in general.
Yes.
And that was one of my favorite lessons I feel like we've learned.
Yeah.
But I want to start this conversation by talking about like just how we use these supplements so intentionally, because people that are looking at us from the outside probably assume that we don't do anything because we're just so like, I don't know, we're not party people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very whimsical girlies.
Yes,
okay.
We are.
Which is so funny, because like to add to that, every time I was like here US last weekend. So whenever this dropped, like beginning August. And this girl was sitting with me and she was like smoking weed and drinking. She was like, do you want some? I'm like, no, I'm good, girl. She's like, do you want to drink? I'm like, I'm good, girl. And she was like, so what do you do? And I get that question all the time, and I'm like, nothing. She's like, you're just in a good mood. I was like, well, most of the time, but there's times where I crash out. It's because I'm already like, we're already so like, I don't want to say up here, but just so in tune that like those certain things can even heighten you more, and you don't need that when you're already like up here, right? Yeah,
don't want that.
Like literally. So I always end though with when they keep pressing, and I was like, they're like, so what do you like? If you were to do anything, what do you do? I'm like, mushrooms is my girl. I always say that, and they're like, okay, and I was like, yeah, but like once in a while, you know what I mean? So
and mushrooms is one of those substances that I feel like goes like in two different camps. Like there are like the party people that also drink and smoke weed and like to do it to like party and socialize and to like have that kind of experience, which is good. I don't think I've ever done mushrooms in like a public setting before. I don't think I could. I think I would lose my mind.
I would be in the bathroom sweating, crying.
Yes, same.
Like
same. And then there's the people like us who do it while they're like cozied up on their best friend's couch, having conversations about trauma and the problems that we're trying to overcome in our lives, and talking about what the meaning of love is.
Yes, exactly. Or poop.
Or poop. Yeah.
We had a breakthrough about poop.
Oh my God, both of us have a pattern of getting constipated when we travel. And we went on a trip together. Well, she came to visit me in Victoria, but I had to be there. So we both had just traveled to get there. And we were both like talking about how terrible it is that we can't poop. And then we did mushrooms, and then for some reason we had like this huge breakthrough about how constipation means that you're not feeling safe.
Yeah, yes, which is so, girl, I shit you not. No pun intended.
Pun intended. Pun intended.
I literally like, since then, girl, the bowels have been bowling.
See, I traveled last week. I was fine.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm safe wherever. Like, it's so good. So that breakthrough was eating.
Life-changing, eating. Ew.
So I listen to you and your feeling constipated when you're traveling,
you have to teach your body how to feel safe and tell your body that it is safe and reprogram that. I think what we did, we just cleared that.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because it's very much like solar plexus and gut, right? Like that's like safety, security, you know what I mean? So yeah, we literally just cleared that and we're like, boom.
Yeah.
And then it was like,
and now we're pooping all the time.
Even when traveling.
I
love that.
For us.
But I would, but not on the plane.
Well, you know what? I would rather that than be constipated.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I just think like, no, I always get an aisle seat anyways.
I hate asking someone to move in a plane. I hate being in the window seat. Like having to interrupt two people when they're sleeping.
I'll hold my pee and my poop.
Same.
Are you insane?
And then I've gotten a bladder infection doing that. Aisle seat. That's what we need.
Oh my god. Okay, so
anyway,
the way I love us.
I do. I love that we're wearing crowns, talking about poop.
That's queens.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Poop queens.
Oh my god. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so the way we literally do mushroom is we set an intention, right? And I've gone down the rabbit hole of like my beginning of my spiritual awakening was learning a lot about shamanism and like African ancestral medicine and spirituality. So it really taught me how to build relationship with plants and everything, right? So we bring that into the medicine when we go to have a trip. And the first time I did this, I saw a big difference from when we did it all three, like that very first time when we were at Elk Island.
Didn't we put intentions in it, or did the other person?
The other person did, but I feel like I just noticed the difference like when I did it, and I think you said it too.
I've had very different experiences setting intentions and not. And when we say set intentions, like what we actually do practically is we will like speak into the mushrooms while we're like blending them or grinding them or whatever, or if we're like putting them into chocolates or making tea, we'll literally be like, I love how these mushrooms are making us feel so connected to each other, and making us feel so safe. And we will literally just talk about the trip that we want to have as if it's already happened.
Exactly, because you're setting your intention, and then you're telling the plant what you want to experience instead of letting it take you on the journey it wants. And that's huge because when we do that, we even say what we are wanting to get out of it after, right? So I think there was a time where I think I wanted to like not be so much in my head and like really notice what voice was mine and what was not, and what was coming from like fear. And that trip was intense. It got real loud. But after that, it was like done. Like, you know what I mean? So before that, the whole process of us, I can take you through like the whole process. It's we start, we get it, and then we usually cleanse it with sage, Palo Santo, incense, and then some Florida water spray, which is like a cleansing spray. If you know, you know. But if not, literally sage or any smudging thing. It's your intention that matters. And then we pray over it, right? So I usually ask for like Archangel Michael or the ancestors in spirit, and I also talk to the spirit of the plant. And then as we're doing that, then we separate it, take our doses, and then we set our intention. It works every time. Single time.
And it sounds so extra, but like I've told this to like my cousin Brandon. I've even told him like you should do this before you drink, even as like setting intentions before that. And I remember the first time he actually did it, he came to me the next day, he was like, oh my god, that made such a difference.
Exactly.
He had like no hangover the next day and had such a good time. Like even with alcohol, this works.
It does, and that goes for anything. Like that's a really good friend. That literally goes for anything, because essentially when you're setting an intention, you're saying I'm taking control of the wheel and I get to choose what experience I want to have, right? Otherwise, you're just leaving it a blank slate. Pretend it's literally like a blank canvas, and you're like, just put whatever colors you want. And they're putting like dark orange, brown, and you're like, this is nasty. Instead of you being like, actually, here's a blank canvas. I want some pink, some yellow, you know, some light blue.
You're actually gonna like what you get in the end.
Period. Yes, exactly. Okay, so the first time we had a trip together was with one of our friends in the past, and we actually were out in nature, and that was the first experience that I was like, whoa, because I'm not, like we talked about, like we're not, I would say, like substance people, but that was that time where I was like, this is for me.
Yes.
Like, and I think it is because mushrooms are like earthy and they are a medicine for your mind. So when used intentionally, they can shift and reset your nervous system actually the way that you need to be. So I feel like even for me, when I've been feeling so icky, at least once a year, I'm like, okay, we gotta reset, you know?
It allows you to, I think psilocybin, it actually like unlocks certain parts of your brain that you normally don't have conscious access to.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you the ability to look at your life and your issues and your problems and even like your own psyche from a completely different perspective than you can access normally.
Yes.
And then I find, especially if you're intentional about it, that does carry forward with even after it wears off, you have that memory of what it was like to see your situation in a different way, and then you can actually integrate that.
Yeah, I agree. And it's crazy because, like you said, like even after, I can feel, because it stays in your system for a few days after, I can even feel how it shifted things from before and then after, and it's always so transformative. And we're not saying go out there and do things crazily,
but if you're going to, do it our way.
Exactly, intentionally. Because it's the best.
It is. And I feel like it's such a big part of like who we are today. Like so much of, I think, our healing has come from the conversations and the insights that we've had when we did unlock our brains through these supplements.
Exactly. Okay, so going back to our first time, that was the first time I was like, oh my God, this is I was dancing. We were outside in a bikini. Kelly was having a completely different trip, which literally tells you how crazy. Like, you could take the same thing, which we'll get into the other story where we did that in Victoria, and then you took it again, and then it was like a nightmare. But nightmare. Oh my God. So I was like vibing. I could feel like my sacral. All I wanted to do was dance. And then Kelly was literally worried about being kidnapped. So tell us like what was going through your head.
Well, I had that experience that we talked about earlier where her and our other friend were definitely starting to feel it. They were like, ooh, I'm noticing this and blah, blah, blah. And they were up and they were dancing and they were vibing. And I was just sitting there like, am I feeling it? I don't think I'm feeling it. I think I feel normal. And I was so obviously in my head. And then our friend actually at one point pointed out to me, because she was very energetically attuned as well. And she was like, I think you're blocking yourself from experiencing the mushrooms.
Medicine,
And I was like, I think you're probably right, because all I am experiencing right now is just being in my head wondering why I'm not feeling it yet. And then I think I took a little bit more and I still wasn't feeling it. And then I think I had like a hit of like I think she had like a joint. And then I took that, and then all of a sudden I was like, boom.
It's like, hello.
But, and that, this just also goes to show just what period of my life I was in, because I was at a period of my life where I was not feeling safe at all. And I was also still pretty active in my eating disorder at this point. I hadn't yet gone through my recovery. So a lot of that initial experience of when I was starting to get high, all I was doing was comparing myself to you two. Constantly, like just how you guys were free and moving and like feeling so confident in your bodies. And not only was I feeling so self-conscious and insecure, and like every single movement I made, I felt like I was just judging myself and that everyone around me must be judging me too. But I also started to get paranoid that men were watching us because we were in public, we were at a park. And then that's when the whole story in my head of I'm going to get kidnapped started coming up. And then for the next few hours, I think at one point you guys were still dancing, and I just curled up into the fetal position on a towel and literally started watching this movie in my head of me going and getting kidnapped. And I had to pee so bad, but I could not get up to go to the bathroom because I was so afraid that if I did, I was going to get kidnapped.
Oh, see, and I didn't even like. I mean, because we were up in the ethers. Like, and I didn't find this out until after, and I was like, whoa, like, because I'm like, wait, like, literally, if I would have known that, I would have been like, come, girl, let's get, like, you know what I mean? But it's like,
I also couldn't voice it out. Like, I was so self-conscious. And I think when it actually did click in for you is because you and the other friend were talking about going in the water. You said you're going to go to the lake. And then I just sat up and I was like, please don't leave me. Please don't go. Please don't leave me. Like, and I started getting really scared. And you guys are like, oh, okay. Why? Do you want to come with us? I'm like, no. please stay here. Please. Oh, and I think that's what I told you. I was having this weird paranoia about getting kidnapped.
And then I can't remember what that friend said. Like, what did she end up? Did she end up saying something about it to make you feel lighter? Or were you like in it like the whole time? Okay.
Yeah, I think I was in it up until like the end.
Yeah, when we were driving out and then we were talking about it more. Yeah. Because I know when I was coming down, I was talking about like feeling a fear of like Henry dying.
I was just gonna say that you had a fear come up of your partner who you're getting married to in 2 days. Slay. Dying.
Yeah.
Which I think that was the last time that really came up for you, because you had that come up in previous not trips but like dreams.
Yes,
you had about it as well.
So many dreams. Yeah.
And I think that was the time it cleared.
Yes. Yeah. And it shifted because I feel like after that, like even when it came, I'm like, okay, that's not the timeline. It was definitely, and then when I did tune into that, it was definitely past life, because in the past life I realized we came back because we were separated. Like there was a few lifetimes we were separated like early. So we came back to kind of like rectify that and actually finish life together.
Love.
So yeah, the other lifetimes like he was like killed or died or some, I was like, so I was like, oh my God, not again. Remember we were in Canmore and I got up in the middle of the night and I was like calling him. And then when you got up in the morning, I was like, yeah, I was up all night last night because I had a dream he is literally dying.
Yeah, and there was a man who had died, but he used to be friends with Henry, and he was dead at that point, and he was in your dream.
Yes.
And you were telling me about your dream.
Yes.
And then I like, you probably slowly watched my face change, because as you were telling me about your dream, I was like, I had a dream about him last night.
Yes, it was freaky.
It was so weird because I didn't know the guy, but for some reason he was in my dream.
Yeah.
He was in your dream, but he was dead. So like, did he come to us in our dreams?
It was weird.
It was so weird.
But ironically, when I did call Henry, he was like into some weird, not weird stuff, but like he was like, oh, that's weird because I had a weird night and some weird things happened. Yeah. So yeah, I was like,
it was a timeline. And I think similarly, we've talked about this. I think if we're going into past life stuff, I do think there were past lives where I was kidnapped or sex trafficked, because that's come up a lot for me.
Yes.
We'll talk about my ayahuasca.
I was going to say, let's get into that because that literally came up in there.
Girl. Oh my God. Okay. On the topic of trips, we do mushrooms a lot together. Yes. She has yet to do ayahuasca. She might do.
I don't know. But
maybe
if she calls me, she calls me.
I had set the intention that I did want to do it. Like I had heard so much about it and I felt like I was ready. And then the opportunity to do it kind of just fell into my lap, because when I was solo traveling, I ended up meeting someone who like 2 days from then was going to be hosting an ayahuasca ceremony for a bunch of his friends. And they had like one spot open and I was like, can I come? So I did it. It wasn't 2 days later. It was maybe a week later, actually, because I did have time to prepare. Because when you're doing ayahuasca, even more so than mushrooms, they really do emphasize the prep process, setting your intentions, but also having to do like a deep cleanse. So they say there's all these different foods you're not supposed to have, like even onions and garlic and dairy and gluten and meat you're not supposed to have. You're not supposed to have sex. You're not supposed to consume any like media or content for the few days leading up to and before. No alcohol, no substances of any kind. You really got to like cleanse your body and your mind, as well as be very clear with what your intention is going into it. And I did notice the power of setting intentions for ayahuasca, even more so I think than mushrooms, because I've done it twice and my two experiences were so vastly different.
Very different, yeah.
The first one, because I was already feeling a little bit nervous, because I obviously had never done it before. The most thing I had done was either I smoked weed before and then I've done the mushrooms, but nothing more than that. And so I was feeling afraid about the intensity. So my first trip going in, I set the intention that I wanted it to be very gentle and I wanted to feel really safe and like not lose it too much during that process. I just wanted to have a very gentle understanding of a few things that were going on in my life. And I ended up that trip, I'll be short because the second one is so much more significant, but that one I ended up just having, once it kicked in, because it took like hours for it to actually kick in for me. Everyone around me was tripping and I was not. I think I was mentally blocking it. Once it finally kicked in, I actually just watched my inner child come to me and take my hand and take me, like my 7-year-old self, 10-year-old self, and walk me through my life and walk me through these very seemingly insignificant moments that actually had a very deep impact on me. And most of it had to do with my relationship with my body and my eating disorder. I saw like the earliest experiences that planted that seed of my eating disorder for me, and how that ended up translating into my adulthood. And I just watched and also felt the significance of it in my body, and like what my younger self made those experiences mean and how she interpreted them. And it was very beautiful. I ended up crying a lot, but like it didn't feel like I was like up in the stratosphere like having a time. I was grounded in where I was. I was just kind of like, it felt like I was just dreaming, like daydreaming about my inner child, and then feeling the emotions of it and crying. Aww. It was really beautiful.
See, that makes me want to do it. I'm like, wait, I feel like I'll probably do it once in my lifetime, but I'll just wait for it to like find me and
my
like
bachelorette party. That's what I want to do.
Girl, we're there. We're
That's
doing
what I want to do. Because that's so us-coded. It's so us-coded. It's so us-coded. But my second and only other time that I've done ayahuasca couldn't have been more different.
Yeah.
And because it was my second time going into it, and I had a lot of things going on in my life at that point that I really wanted some deep clarity and like a big transformation around, I did not go into it with like, I want to be gentle and I want it to feel really like safe and nice. I was like, I want to understand everything that's holding me back in my love life and career ever.
Girl.
That was my intention.
Grandmother ayahuasca said bet.
She said, let's go. Let's go. God. And what's really interesting as well, and this is the same with mushrooms, but even more so with ayahuasca, you can set an intention and have like a sort of idea in your head of what it's going to do, or where it's going to take you, and it'll end up taking you somewhere so far away from what you imagined that it won't even seem relevant to the intention until you've spent time dissecting it and you're like, oh, I understand how this was connected to my intention, but on the surface it seemed so unrelated. So to put things very blankly,
here we go.
My second time doing ayahuasca, for the first like 4 hours, I was intensely hallucinating 3 different scenarios. The first scenario was domestic abuse related. So I was hallucinating that I was getting beat the F up by a man.
Oh my God.
And like, what's so weird about that experience is that I knew it wasn't actually happening to me, because I would open my eyes, this hallucinations would only happen when my eyes were closed. I could open my eyes, look around the room, see the shaman sitting in front of me who was just watching YouTube videos on his phone. That's a whole other thing. The shaman that was supposed to be taking care of me, but was on his phone.
Crazy.
Yes. And then I could look around, and my boyfriend at the time was to my left, and I had a bucket to my right. Like, I could see where I was. I knew where I was, but it did not matter that I knew that I was hallucinating. It felt like I was literally experiencing the hallucination in every fiber of my being.
It's like body memory. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, just to be clear for those listening, I have not experienced that in this lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, I don't actually have any trauma around that, yet I was feeling it in my body, and I could feel the roots of it somewhere deep inside of me, where it was like, and I could also see myself fighting it because I wanted like, I could feel everything in me was like, no, like, I don't want to experience this anymore. I've had enough. This is too much. I can't go back into that memory. I can't. And I would like try to keep my eyes like open so that I wouldn't go back into the memory. And then I would just see the shaman in front of me. You're not going to see this if you're not watching the video, but he would literally just like take his 2 fingers, put them in front of his eyes, and then like,
that would tweak me out.
Put his like eyelids down, like cueing me to like close my eyes, and I was like, no.
Meanwhile, he's watching YouTube.
Yeah, while he's watching YouTube, yes. So that was the first scenario that I was hallucinating.
He's like, girl, don't bother me. Close your eyes.
Literally. The second one was of sexual assault. And then the third one was of human trafficking. And I was experiencing those hallucinations, I swear on my life, as if they were happening to me in the moment. Like it was like a full like PTSD sort of flashback, even though I haven't experienced any of those things really in this lifetime. And coming back to the idea that my intention was to understand what was getting in the way of my business and my career and my love life, it doesn't seem relevant at all. But after a lot of reflecting, and also like the remaining of the trip, because it was probably like 6 to 7 hours total from when I like took it to when I was like sobered up, I realized that there was a deep wound around projecting a lack of safety onto men, particularly. And I watched as I was coming down from the ayahuasca, I saw how I was doing that to my current partner at the time, and how like subconsciously I just had this story that men were always going to disrespect me, come to not like me, come to hurt me, come to leave me, come to abandon me and leave me in a bad position. And I think that subconsciously I was expecting my partner to do that too, and just always looking for proof that he was going to do that. And then like that explains a lot of the back and forth that we had in that relationship, because we were on and off for so many years. And there was definitely a lot of projection that I had that I put onto him. And when it came to career, I could also see that I had built my business around this wound that I was never going to be taken care of. I was the only one that was ever going to take care of myself, because I could not trust anyone else, which to some degree can be good, because it's good to understand that you want to be able to be there for yourself, and you want to know that you can rely on yourself if you ever need to. But building my entire career based on that felt so insecure, because deep down I didn't feel like I had any other option. And I felt like the weight of the world was on me and was on my business. And if it didn't work out, then I was going to end up in a really terrible position. So I was always so scared, and always like using so much control around my career and of my business, and really struggled surrendering and letting go of control in my business, which was a big lesson for me, because of that wounding, that I could only rely on myself, and that if I ever relied on a man, it was going to put me in a terrible position.
Yeah, it's so interesting, because it's a little bit like all supplements will have effects differently on people, right? Like especially the ones that have such deep, profound medicine, because you were having this trip, but then with this other person, he was chilling. He said he had like such a really good trip, which I also think
which was annoying as fuck. I literally felt like I felt like I literally was like getting physically beaten up for like 7 hours. And then we come down from the trip, and then like we finally lock eyes and we like hold hands for a second. And I was getting ready to hear like, wow, like what a trip that must have been. As I was like, oh, how was it for you? And he was like, it was so nice. I had such a good childhood.
You're like, I'm gonna hit you right now.
I love that for you. Yeah, I've just been raped for 7 hours.
I beat and trafficked, and then killed myself. Crazy. Yeah, that's insane. I do think though the substance, I feel like depending on who you were with, they also have an effect, because your first trip, even though you didn't know the person, I feel like innerly you probably felt more safe with him than the second one.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe that kind of triggers, I don't know, like how the effects of the medicine happens, because I do notice that as well with mushrooms, because depending on who I'm around, it'll feel a little bit different. And I think it's because of like the energy that's around you, which is why even with ayahuasca, I'm like, I would probably do it like privately with just me and you.
Yes.
But I don't know if I would do it with other people, because you already, like, I feel like naturally I'm already picking up on other people's stuff just on a day-to-day. So like when you're so sensitive, I even notice that on mushrooms, I have to like tune out, or even like sometimes I close my eyes, or just like sometimes remove myself to kind of just disconnect and like think about my own thoughts. So I can imagine how like that can be even more amplified, like on ayahuasca.
The first trip that I had, the one that actually went well, I was in a room with 40 people.
Wow.
And somehow it was still okay.
It was like amazing.
Whereas the second one, it was just me, my partner, and the weird shaman that was watching YouTube.
Yeah,
and it was terrible.
So that's probably what, like those, their energy is like, oh.
Yeah.
Also, like, can we just talk about how, like, the other thing too about ayahuasca is I would not just do it with anybody because of that.
No.
It is a plant medicine. And when you're doing any kind of those ceremonies, the person that is holding space has to be holding space. So they can't just be certified today and then giving you medicine the next day, because when you take any supplements, even mushrooms and ayahuasca and stuff, pretend it's like a little bat symbol in the spirit world, and all these energies are like, whoa, what is that? And they come to you. So when you're in anxiety and you're doing all these things, the person that's holding space, the shaman, has to be able to ground you out and know how to like kind of like clear that and still emphasize on the safe space. And if they're not doing that, that actually also affects your trip.
Which is why I would go back to the first place. Like, that's where I would want to do it with you, even though it was a lot of other people. They might do private ones, but there was 40 other people, but the two shamans were amazing.
See, okay. And I would do that. Yeah.
Whereas, and one of them spoke English, which was also nice, because with the second trip, the shaman that was there did not speak English at all, which meant that even if I did really need help, he wouldn't have known.
He wouldn't understand. Yeah. And I think, I mean, not to be biased or anything, but that's also kind of why, like, when we do mushrooms and I clear it and cleanse it, because I know exactly what's going in it. It's the same with cooking. Like when someone's cooking for you, if you don't know them and then you leave and all of a sudden your gut's weird and you're like, like energetically, what the heck was in there? You know what I mean? But yeah, I've had a really bad mushroom trip. I think it was only like once, but and I don't think you were here. I think I called you and I was
in Newfoundland.
Yeah.
I had just moved to Newfoundland.
Yeah. And that one, girl, I don't even know what happened. I was friends with that one. I think a lot of that actually probably was coming from the fear I was feeling, probably inside from spirituality, because I was starting to dive more into like ancestral witchcraft and medicine and all these things and like root work.
It was like a whole new spiritual awakening for you. Like you were coming into your gifts and you were connecting to the other side more than you ever had. So you were open spiritually, which explains a lot why you had the trip that you did.
Exactly. Because girl, I remember like just first starting, I was just sitting there, I was like, yeah, I don't feel it. And this is the other thing with you too, is I also notice I'm at a point where I'm like, oh, I don't feel it. Let's take more. And that time I was like, okay, that was the only other time that I was like, next time, that's a cue. If I know I'm not feeling it, there's no way I'm taking more, because I took so much. And then it just hit me. All of a sudden I felt like I was panicking. Girl, I was seeing like aliens in the corner, like morphing. And I could see like whether, if you're here, I feel like you align. But starseeds are a thing. We all come from like different like alien planets or whatever, whether you believe it or not. So I could see Henry's face shift into his starseed origin, like into the Lyran. It was so cool. I'm hitting my mic. It was so cool, and I was like, whoa. And then in another instance I turned and there's an alien in the corner, and by Jimmy's cage and like the duplex that we had. And then all of a sudden, and I do notice when I come down, which is part of my intention now, when you're going up it's fine, but I notice when I come down, it's when your hormones start regulating, because you're up here. And when you start regulating, you have to kind of like adhere and match the frequency, which is on a lower level here, like on Earth. It just hits so hard. So now my intention is to have my come down be gentle, because when it hit, oh my God, all of a sudden I was in fear.
Yeah,
I was like, I genuinely thought I went into psychosis. I'm like,
I might have.
Yes. And I'm like, girl, I was like, this is me forever. I was tripping. And I took it like so early in the morning, like 10 a.m., like the day before. I didn't start coming down until 7 p.m. the next day. The next day. I was gone, girl. I was gone. And then at one point I had like, it was definitely coming into gifts. So I feel like it was definitely like like meeting the fear of what's so indoctrinated into you of like, it's not even just witchcraft, magic in general, tuning into your gifts, being born with certain things. So I had a flame on, and whether you do candle magic or not, there's such thing as like candle magic, even if you're just like setting an intention with the candle and the flame. And at the time I was researching into like different deities and trying to figure out certain things, like looking into the African side of the Orishas and then the deities of like Hecate and and Haiti.
You even
and
had
Lilith.
Your coconut.
Yeah, Aligua. Yes, exactly.
Well, so explain that a little bit, because I think that's relevant to the story. Didn't you get rid of Aligua after that?
Actually, that was actually, yes, the beginning of that, because at that time, it was around the time where I was friends with that girl, and I do think we were friends together because we had to clear a past life thing. And at the time, I started diving deeper into like like African ancestral root work and like medicine and like witchcraft, to say the least. And I felt very called to the Orisha. And I did find out like what Orisha kind of like I was born under and stuff like that. And I felt called to actually have an illegal. And I know a lot of people, if they know what I'm talking about, they're going to say you're actually not supposed to have one until you've been initiated. However, the way that I saw me doing it, it was almost like I had to do it that way. And I'm not gonna go into like the whole story, because I'm like actually hearing to keep that like just sacred. But I will say that ancestrally, it felt right to have it at that time, because till this day, the energies and like the ancestors that like protect me and stuff, even like with like the Orishas and stuff, they still visit me till this day. I still call upon them and stuff. But specifically with that one, I just feel like that one was an initiation, but it wasn't meant to stay around. But I know people do say when you have it, it's like forever.
I remember you telling me that, because it was, so for those that have, no one's going to really know what we're talking about. So essentially you called upon a deity or of some sort and put it inside a coconut.
Yeah. So essentially how it works, like, I don't really want to explain it, because it's so much more intricate than that.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of be called to be able to do that, right? So essentially how deity work, just outside of the coconut, like the deity that you're choosing to like worship and like work with has to call you. Like they have to kind of, like invite you, exactly, collaborate with you. And it is not this like you're bowing down to them. No, it's a collaborative relationship, right? So no matter what you're doing, whether you're dealing with Lilith, Hecate, or whatever, even archangels, right? Like even your guides, you have to call upon a relationship with them. So at that time, I was like, okay, so this is a coconut. And then I went through the ritual, because I saw past life where I did have this too. So then I painted it black and I painted it red, because that's the colors of Aligua. And then I just prayed and set my intention and immediately was there. And then I started working with that.
And you had like a whole ritual that you had to do for this coconut.
Yeah, it was like, if you know, you know, but there was rum, there was like cigars, there was candy, there was coins, it
was like taking after like a literal pet.
It was a whole thing. Like,
and you could not miss it.
Yes, and if you did, you had to communicate with it. And that was the other thing that actually came from that, which was spirit talking about how, when you're entering a relationship, which I knew from like Shaman Durek as well, like a lot of his teaching, when you're entering a relationship with any deities, if there is fear, and obviously I didn't know that at the time, if there's any type of fear and any type of feeling like if I do this, something bad's going to happen, that's actually a sign that that's not coming from God, that's not coming from source, from, the highest of light, right? Regardless what it is, because anything you engage in spiritually wise, it doesn't matter what it is, if there's any type of fear, condemnation, that is not unconditional love, and that is not actually coming from true source. And that's actually what came from that mushroom trip.
Yeah.
Because candle magic was another thing. I started diving into it, and then I saw like the flames and the portals. This is getting so woo-woo, but I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too.
I saw the flames and the portals, and actually, oh my God, who was? I don't think, was it Lucifer? No, I can't remember who else came through.
Not Lucifer.
It wasn't him. It was somebody else. But it came through, and then I heard this big voice, and it just felt like fear. But I actually didn't set an intention before that. But I think before that, I was actually afraid of starting to tap into that side of things, which makes sense why I triggered that. And it was like, you're doing this wrong. Like, oh my God. And now, like, you're going to be like stuck forever. You're in psychos. Like, this voice was so, I can't even describe. It was so loud. It was so loud. And then it kept being like just shaming me as to like why I started diving into that and stuff like that. So and then I remember just like curling into a ball. I literally remember where I was and I was just like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I don't know what I was doing. And then I heard this very gentle voice that told me, and still to say, this is what I use when I'm freaking out and like up here. It was like, put on this exact frequency. And I managed, and you know, when you're tripping, it's kind of hard to like be on technology because you're you're going in.
Oh, it's so hard. Yeah.
But it was like this pure unconditional love frequency. And I can't remember the hertz. And I put that on, and that was the only thing that started like grounding me out. And then after I started coming down the next day, I started like hearing the ancestors being like, yeah, there was a lot of shame when it came to like practice and magic, and you had to like clear that to know that like you can work with certain deities, but also know that like the energies that are going to be thrown through this work is going to be very much base fear. So you're going to have to be grounded and know. The biggest thing that they also say is know that when you are entering into like your craft and your magic and spirituality, there's no such thing as not making a mistake, because you have to experience. Right? But do not lead that with fear, and because that's what's going to get like fed on. Right?
You can't make a mistake and then be like, I can never do that again.
Exactly. But like I was tripping. I was like, I was like, tomorrow I feel like I'm gonna need to go to the hospital. And that was the only bad trip, actually, because after that I was like, I'm never doing that shit again. And then
you didn't for a long time.
I didn't. I
think the next time you did was in Kelowna with me. Which would have been like well over a year later.
Because I was like, whoa.
When you talked about the unconditional loving voice came in, it reminded me of my second ayahuasca trip, because that actually was a big part of that trip as well, after I had gone through the 3 phases of my hallucination. And I remember at one point, maybe like several hours in, just being curled up in a ball and literally pleading to the universe. I was like, please, no more. Like, I can't handle anymore. It literally felt like I had been tortured for hours and hours. And I was like, please, like, I don't want to do this anymore. Please just make the ayahuasca go away. Like, I don't want to be in this anymore. This is so painful. I can't handle it anymore. And then this voice just came in. And it was also like a hallucination of like big cartoonish lips, like cartoonish, big, juicy lips. And they were speaking to me. And they were like, if at any time you need a break, just know that you can access love at any time. And I was like, how?
They're like, girl.
I was like, how? And then the big juicy cartoon lips. You know how like when you're with a pet and you're like, you just love them so much, you're like all over your pet? The big juicy cartoon lips did that to me. And I just remember feeling my heart like expand with so much love and just like giddiness and silliness. And I like accessed that. And then they were like, notice where that lives in your body. That's yours. You can get that anytime.
Oh, wait. Have you connected to those lips since then?
Yes.
Okay.
I have.
Because I'm like, that's actually one of your guides I just heard.
Yeah. Whenever I'm having a trip and I'm going there, that's what I do.
Yeah. She's a girl.
She might be my nan.
She's like, it gives like inner child.
Because my nan used to do that to me all the time.
Oh. Yeah. That's so cute.
I know. And I literally felt like my heart, because I literally was like, I am just in misery. I'm going to be in misery all the time. Like I was like, after experiencing it literally felt like I had been traumatized. Like because I had literally hallucinated being abused for hours and hours and hours. I was like, how am I ever going to move on from this? And then I felt like my whole heart expand, and like I just felt love like flow in, and I was like, oh, okay, so this isn't forever. Like it was really powerful.
It's crazy how like those voices like at the right moment.
Well, all I did was ask.
Oh, like how? They're like, oh,
no, it was me pleading, like, please stop, please stop, please stop, please stop.
God. Yeah, and that is actually the thing that I noticed and that I love the most on like when you're in those states is how easy it is to like, because obviously the fear voice is
it's so overpowering.
It's so It's like, and sometimes I feel like it's on a microphone and it's like, like yelling.
It's all you can pay attention to.
And then you just notice like Source's voice and God's voice and your like your guides,
gentle.
like it's just so like, yeah, it just feels like a warm hug. And it really grounds in, like when you're even like right now, like without any supplements, your day to day, when you're listening to those voices and you're like, oh, this is actually not this, like this is this, right? Because I know it's as crazy as that trip was for me.
It helps you to recognize that voice. And I think what you said earlier, your intention for that trip was to recognize when the voice was yours and when it was fear.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense to me how that came through in your trip, because it got so loud, even though in the moment you were still buying into it and believing it had to be so exaggerated and so like in your face that you would be able to tell, okay, this is what it sounds like when I'm tripping. This is what the fear voice sounds like. You could recognize it a lot easier because it was so loud.
Yes. And when I was walking the next day, one of the biggest thing that I'm actually really happy, and I saw this video, and this reminds me of the video that I saw about the girl on TikTok that you got a reading from. But she came out with the story talking about how she had an experience like a few years ago, and she was tested by like her faith, but it wasn't like God, it was about like her gifts and her magic. And it was like basically like religious people condemning her for what she does and stuff like that. And it came down so hard, and that was like the biggest crossroads of her life, where she had to realize that, like, I'm getting chills saying this, what she's doing, there's nothing wrong with it. And when it comes from God and love and source, you will never feel condemned and like bad, no matter what you're doing. We are love, we are God at source, right? And she said that was a big pivotal moment for her. And I remember after that, like spirit was like, there was a big fear, because it's still in this day and age when you're practicing magic, your gifts, you know, your tarot, it doesn't matter exactly. Girl, some people are seeing manifestation of demonic, which we're not even gonna get into that, because what do you mean I'm trying to manifest something
and that's demonic?
And that
crazy.
Are we not supposed to be happy on this planet? Like I swear to God, this is why people are suffering.
No, we're supposed to be God fearing.
Also, red flag when someone says that, because why are we fearing God? God is love.
Yeah.
We're
anyway.
Like, I'm just because I could go on and on. Every time I hear that on like reality TV, I want a God fearing man. I'm like,
miss me with him. Miss me with that God fearing man.
Boot it. I'm okay. Boot it out of me. It was like your gifts and whatever, how you were created is exactly how you were created. And with the indoctrination, it comes down with so much fear from you just being embodied in yourself. And when you are practicing and starting to get into your spirituality and your gifts, the fear of you doing something bad and you doing something wrong and you being condemned is going to be so amplified. But know that there's nothing wrong that you're doing, because God at its source and at its literally truest form will love you no matter what you're doing. And that was so profound to me.
So much permission.
Because even after that, I can't remember if I think I got a reading. Actually, I think it was actually before I got the session of shaman and I found out I was like literally like a witch in the past life, and then I got killed, and then he took me down through this thing. It was a whole thing, and I'm like, this makes so much sense, right? But all to say, when those voices get so loud, the biggest thing that like tells me this is not mine and this is mine is if there's any type of fear, any type of condemnation, any type of like, you're a bad person, you're a crappy person, you're gonna stay like this forever, who are you to do this, da, 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 da. That is your indicator that's not God, that's not source, that's not love, that's not your guides. Because when it comes in and you feel it in your gut and it's so gentle, it's so tender, it's nourishing, it's expanding.
You just know that that's true.
Exactly. Because God would not pour into you, source, your guides, whatever you resonate with. They wouldn't pour into you with anything other than love.
Yes.
And that was so grounding.
That
was so grounding. Until this day.
No more potatoes.
Not
like that, at least.
Yes, exactly.
The potatoes that we do have are like very like human coded now. They're not like deeply like existential, like demon.
Yes.
Now it's just like, does she hate me?
Exactly.
or should I not have quit my job?
Yes. I even noticed that too in my dreams, because after like going and clearing over that, I just feel like I have less sleep paralysis. And then even the nightmares don't nightmare anymore, because you know how vivid my dreams are.
Girl.
It's like we're just chilling. We're either singing like gospel music or just twerking music and twerking the light in the dreams. It's so good.
I love your dreams. They're so funny.
I told Kelly, I said, fun fact, every time I'm in sleep paralysis, and I told her this, I said, try this every time you become lucid in sleep paralysis, start singing and dancing, because it amplifies your vibration and it actually like puts you out of it. I don't want to get into like too much of the detail of what happened with sleep paralysis. Maybe we'll go into it another episode.
We both have dealt with
that. But when you're feeling so locked in your body, if you can think of like a song or a moment that like makes you feel love, I sing, because I sing like things that connect me to like my mom or God or source, or like things that help me feel good with twerking.
What is your song again?
I feel better when I'm dancing. Yeah. Better when I'm dancing. Yeah.
Just imagine her in her sleep, like being chased by a demon, literally, and starting to do that
every single time. Or I'm like surrounding myself with all the people that loves me. Kelly's love, Arthur's love, Henry's love, Florian's love, and every single time it works. I wish I knew this as a kid.
Yeah.
Because the amount of sleep paralysis I had.
Yeah.
Out of this world.
Okay.
Same. So with that said, though,
we have so many other trips. There's so more trips. Wait, I want to talk about the clapping one.
Oh my god! Speaking of gifts,
literally speaking of gifts, because Colleen, we had a trip where I think you were already starting to learn, but you realized very deeply in that trip, like how powerful your hands are and how you can use them to like manifest and clear and heal. And it came from her having to chase a demon out of the house with her hands that I accidentally brought in.
Low vibrational energy. Kelly saw it in the.
So we had met this guy. Sound insane. We're losing like 70% of our listeners at this point.
I don't blame that. We're gaining 70%.
We're gaining 70%. Like, wow, a demon. Tell us more. Yeah, I went on a date with a guy who we met when we went out dancing. This was years and years and years ago. And I went over to his apartment. And I just remember and he was just weird. His energy was weird. I never saw him again. But there was like this painting on his wall of like this, okay, you know that like demon emoji, like that red face that has like the fire, and it's like that emoji, it looked like that. And it was on his wall. And then and he was actually supposed to come over to do that trip with us. Do you remember that?
Oh my God, I do.
But then I ended up like ending it with him after that, before we did the trip. He was going to come over, and me and him and Colleen and Henry were all going to do mushrooms together. And then he ended up not coming because I ended it. Anyways, then we're tripping, whatever. I'm laying on her couch, just vibing, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I'm literally laying down. And then all of a sudden, eyes are closed. I just see this demon face go bah! Right in my face. And you saw me jump. I literally, my whole body responded. I jumped up. I probably lifted like a foot off the couch. That's how far I jumped. It was so scary. And then you're like, what happened? I'm like, I explained what I just saw. And then I just see Colleen stand up.
It just like
locked in. And then she just starts clapping.
I don't know how long, because my hands were
raw. Yeah, she started clapping in every corner of the house. Upstairs, downstairs. She went outside and the neighbor saw you too, and you're just clapping out there by the front door trying to get this demon out. And I was like, I don't know what she's doing, but slay.
And it worked. Because after it was like, and that was actually this like part of the start of the shamanic gifts coming in, because after that, when I was integrating, spirit was like an easy way, you know, sometimes you don't have tools, but like your body knows the medicine, and an easy way to like clear energies in your room and space, especially after you come home from vacation too. Reset yourself and just start clapping in every corner. And what that does is the vibration kind of shakes up anything, any energies in the walls, and it just tells it to like get the F out.
Yeah.
Like, wow,
that was weird.
That was so, until this day, girl, if I start on it, it's act. Yeah, I love it.
I love it too.
It's so good.
There's also that one trip where Archangel Henry.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So we did mushrooms with her now almost husband.
Yeah.
Years and years ago, and he just kind of turns into like a guardian angel for some reason. Like he just looks different. He like talks different. He's just like kind of there observing. And like if me and her are like talking about something that's going wrong, then he'll just be like playing with the thermostat and like changing the temperature of the room so that we can have like another different variation of our trip. And he'd be like, oh, have a little bit of this, and he'd give us like a little thing of like chocolate or like a mushroom or something. And he was just like taking us on this whole journey. It came out of nowhere. I feel like he doesn't even know what happened, but he just knew exactly what to do, changing the temperature of the room. What else was he doing?
He was like, that was the first time, like, you know how you hear about subliminal messages and stuff?
Yes.
Like, I've never heard of them, but that was the first time on that trip where we both heard it so many times, and we locked in. We're like, what was that? Like,
we both heard the voice, and then because we were watching Love Island.
Yes, we were.
At the end of our trip, we started watching Love Island, and then like we both heard the sound, and we looked at each other.
Yeah.
And then we paused the TV to see if it was coming from the TV, and it was. Because as soon as we paused it, it stopped, and we turned it back on, it started again. We're like, what is this?
Yes. And it was triggered by Henry being like, there's subliminal messages and everything, and then he kept like rewinding certain parts, and he was like, listen to it. We're like, whoa, what the heck? It was crazy. It was crazy. Oh my God.
That was the trip that I found the hardest to integrate, because the next day when I woke up, I was still like, how do I go back to being a human after this? Like, I feel like I just moved to a different planet. Like, I don't know how to go about like having a job and getting money after this, like washing myself and feeding myself. Like, this is all of this is bullshit.
Literally. Oh my God. We love mushrooms. The other thing I want to talk, because we have so many trips.
So many trips.
The thing I want to talk about is
the Victoria one.
One place. One place. Okay, guys. So,
on the note of like who you do mushrooms with will change your entire trip.
We went to Victoria.
We had a different kind of mushroom for the first time. Penis MB, right?
Yes, and we usually do golden teachers,
which we don't like anymore.
Yes, because we're like, I don't even know what made us want to try something else. But
because we've only ever had bad experiences on golden teachers.
Yes.
It puts you so in your head.
Yes, it's so cerebral, which is what like we learned, because that penis envy was so good.
Yeah. It was like a body high. Like, we felt so just like we're shaking ass.
It was so good.
We loved it.
And then there was another one that was it called Blue Envy?
Blue something, not
yeah. Blue. Oh yeah, Blue some. That one.
So good.
That one's it. Anyways,
not golden teachers. Don't do drugs. But if you're going to, don't do golden teachers. Do something else. We love penis envy and blue something.
Yes. Me and Kelly were like, should we do my? She was like, yeah, let's just order it. And then we did our thing. We cleansed it, set our intention and everything.
And we had our poop breakthrough.
Yes, we had such a good time. And you were on the phone off and on, like with the guy you were seeing at the moment, and you were vibing. It was such a good time. You're like,
he was not vibing.
Yes,
he was so annoyed with us.
Yes. Oh my God, he was. I feel like that was the start of him like
being like, I don't know about these two.
Yes, literally.
Because we were having such profound breakthroughs and conversations, and we just had him on the phone, like he was there just listening to us talk about like spirits and energies and manifestation, and like the people that we've learned from, your shaman Durek. I was talking about Kyle Cease because I love Kyle Cease, and we were just having such a vibe, and he was like just so skeptical of everything we were saying.
So triggered.
Anyway, we had a great
trip. And then Kelly had such a good trip that she's like, oh my God, I want to do it with him.
Yeah,
he's gonna love it. Da, 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 da. So fast forward
Like a week later.
Did we do, yeah, okay, because we did a beginning, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward a week later. Usually when we do, when Kelly does mushrooms or anything without me, I hear from her before, like even while you're like about to like get up on there, like I hear she's like, I love you so much.
Literally,
you came into my mind.
Yes.
Like literally that night I could feel, I'm like, something's going on, because it just felt like, I don't know, like, okay, so when you were on, even when you were doing, I could feel the energy. It was like I could feel you, like you were fine.
I was in the stratosphere.
Like, yeah, like I was like, okay, she's cool, she's vibing.
I was like,
this
Colleen,
night,
I'm good. Colleen, I love you.
Yeah, like literally, it just felt like, I don't know, it just felt gray. Like it just felt gray.
You left that morning, so I literally saw you like that morning or that afternoon, and then went and did the mushrooms with this guy that same day.
It just felt so gray, and I was like, what is going on? And then I get like a text. Like, what did it say? Of the night. Not in the middle of the, but like later in the night.
Yeah.
And then Kelly's like, hi bestie, I love you. I was like, oh, there she is. And then she was like, hi bestie, I love you. We had a bad trip. I passed out. This person went into psychosis. Couldn't handle it. I passed out. It was really bad. I will explain it to you later, but I just wanted to say I love you so much. Even when I'm literally having such a bad time, I'm like, I love you. Please, can you please tell us what happened? Because they need to hear this.
Oh my God. It was so bad. And it was the same package of mushrooms.
Same package, the same thing we cleansed, the same thing we did that we had such a great trip on.
It was so good. It was the best trip you and I'd ever been on. Worst trip I've ever been on after that. Same exact one.
Different person.
With a different person. And yeah, I mean, it was just weird.
How did it start? Were you guys planning on it? We knew
we were going to do it together, just not that day.
Okay.
We kind of spontaneously decided to do it that day in our Airbnb. And then he started feeling it first. And then he was acting kind of, you know how he was when he was on, you just kind of got a bit annoying. And then I could feel myself getting annoyed. Yeah. And then, but I was trying to work through that because I didn't want that to be my energy towards him. But then he was acting just like you couldn't talk to him. Mm-hmm. He was just like somewhere else entirely.
It's like so up here and so ungrounded.
He's so ungrounded. Yeah. And then it started to make me feel anxious, and I could feel like we were just like slowly coming apart from each other. And like I was having a lot of my own anxiety come up, but like he was not in a place to be able to help me through that because he was in the stratosphere seeing like angels in the sky and stuff like that. And just acting really weird and also yelling. We were in an Airbnb, like bottom, like the basement suite. So there were people upstairs as well. And I was like, we're being so, and I was being so paranoid the whole time. Aww. And then the paranoia continued with water, because we weren't drinking water, because every time I went to drink it, I thought that I was poisoning myself. And he also got in his head and thought that the water was poisonous too. So then we weren't drinking water. We weren't drinking water, which probably didn't help because I had also taken Plan B that morning.
No, wait, did I know that?
Maybe. I don't know. What? I had taken Plan B that morning. Didn't drink water at all, and then took mushrooms.
Oh my God.
So then there was one point in the trip where like my paranoia was getting really bad. He was feeling really paranoid. So he's like, I'm going to go take a shower. So he went and took a shower. The whole time he was in there, I was just pacing back and forth, so paranoid, back and forth. I was like, please get out of the shower. I'm really tripping. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm not feeling good. And then when he finally gets out of the shower, he opens the bathroom door. And then I don't know this part. This is just from him telling me because I was gone at this point. He opens the door. He's like, are you good? And then I was like, I don't feel well. And then I just fell and passed the fuck out. Like I was standing and then I was falling. And he apparently, he was also still tripping. He needs to come over. He sweeps me up in his arms, drags me across the Airbnb, thinks that I'm having like like a what's overdose or something like that, because he thought I was convulsing, but really it was just because he was dragging me like this. So he thought I had been convulsing and like foaming at the mouth. He was hallucinating that I was like foaming at the mouth. He thought I was dying. But I just passed out from like dehydration, I guess.
Oh my God. This is more context. I didn't think he thought you were foaming at the house.
He thought I was convulsing and foaming at the mouth.
Oh my God.
Which would have been really scary considering he was already paranoid and freaking out.
Yeah.
And I think before that even happened, we already were getting paranoid that we had like taken some bad shrooms, and I was too gone to have the context of I already took these earlier and I was fine. So I actually thought that like the people we bought them from had like poisoned them or put something bad in them or something, and then he was getting in my head about that. And so I was like, I thought that I was dying as well. And I was like, am I convulsing? I don't know. I couldn't see anything. I was literally just like, I could hear him, and I think I was responding back. He like got me on the bed at that point, and I was trying to tell him I was okay, but I didn't know if I could talk.
Oh my God. Really, so from his point, what did he say? He said he was like feeling, I mean, it's always the same thing. It's like, I was feeling like a bad person, but what was he saying specifically that like was like triggering for you?
He told me that he was constantly looking for reasons to reject me.
Yes.
And constantly looking for what was wrong with me. And then he would follow that up with, not to me, he was saying this about himself. He was like, I'm such a bad person. I'm a terrible person. I hate myself. I'm such a terrible person. You're going to know one day how terrible of a person I am. I'm just a piece of shit. I'm such a fucking asshole. And then he would start maniacally laughing.
Meanwhile, Kelly's like, I can't take it. Which is so crazy, because you did say, because I remember you thought maybe like when you guys were in Hawaii, you're like, well, maybe we did buy a bad strand because you guys did something there too.
And we also had a bad trip there. He was freaking out.
Yeah. And then
thought
you came
that
here.
I was not real.
Yes, literally. And you're like, no, you called me. You're like, can you please talk to him?
Yes.
Tell him,
literally the first time me and this guy ever met in person, we flew to Hawaii to see each other. Then he brought us back edibles, which I was like, oh, okay. So then we had edibles in our hotel, and then he thought that I wasn't real, convinced himself that he had been hallucinating me the entire time, and that he was like on a bad drug trip or something. And he thought I wasn't real because I couldn't find my sunglasses.
Oh my God.
And so then we had to call Colleen to get her to convince him that I actually was real.
Yeah. I'm like, this is real. You're okay. Like, he was tripping.
And then after we convinced him that I was real, then he thought that me and you were trying to get him into a sex cult. Just tripping.
God. Oh my God. And I feel like because we had such a good trip on like the mushroom, you were like, no, this is the one. And then it was like completely different, which honestly, like, it makes sense. Like now looking back at, you know, the trajectory of things, like why your trips were so bad, because I'm like, Kelly, girl, you only had amazing trips. I'm like, girl, that was the medicine talking. Like, you know, that's crazy. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's insane. And I remember after you messaged me, I was like, girl, I kept asking her questions. I know maybe she was annoyed. I was like, how much did you take? She was like, less than we did. I'm like, same one? She's like, yeah. I'm like, did you mix it with any? She's like, no. I'm like, girl, did you set your intention? She's like, yeah. I was like, what? I was so confused. I was like, we literally just did this together. Yeah, that's so crazy. Oh my God.
It was bad. It was so bad. And we didn't learn the first night. We had a really bad trip the first night. Then 3 days later, we did it again, had another really terrible time.
Yeah, which goes to show really, 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 it's so important. The people you do it with is so important, because I even remember there was one time where I did it with that girl when we went to Commonwealth.
Yes.
When I was in her apartment, I do remember, maybe because it was Golden Teachers, but no, because we did Golden Teachers in Kelowna when we thought, I thought the tree was an alien and was gonna
and I thought you hated me.
Yes. But even within that, though, even though we were up here, I felt very much grounded. And I feel like I could talk to you. I didn't feel anxious.
We came down a lot nicer.
Yeah, like it was like I felt anxious, but it wasn't about you. It wasn't about like, do you know what I mean? When I was with the other girl, now that I'm looking back at it, I did feel really anxious because I remember going over to her apartment one night and I was just so much in my head.
Yeah.
And there was a few times where she had to like, you know, hold my hand and ground. And I just felt like I just wanted to go home. And then the other time we did it was at our birthday party and I took it and I immediately heard you like it's not peaked yet, you need to get yourself home. Ooh. And the minute I got home I was like, wow. I was spiraling.
Yeah. It makes such a huge difference where you are and also who you're with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. All that to say, don't do drugs.
But if you're gonna do
it,
set clear intentions.
Cleanse it.
Make
sure you're around the right people.
Yeah, they do say like set and setting when it comes to mushrooms. You want to prepare yourself with the intention and like going in with something that you want to get out of it that's positive. Yeah. And then your setting is like making sure you feel safe where you are. Like I almost would only ever want to do them in your house now.
Girl.
Or my apartment.
Us, literally, with you and Henry, that's it. And the big thing I will say with mushrooms, ayahuasca, any medicine, nature is very grounding because it has certain codes that like can balance our nervous system, especially when we're out. Because even when I was up here, when I had that really bad trip, that voice after I started coming down after the frequency, it was like, go outside, go for a walk. And every single time. So wherever you are, make sure you have access to nature.
Even though sometimes it's the last thing you feel like you want to do is go outside. It feels like too overstimulating, but it does help.
It grounds you out. So that's a big part of the setting. Make sure you have food. You're comfortable.
Yeah, food.
Yes.
We used to not eat during, and then when we started eating like before and during the trip, it actually helped keep us grounded as well.
Yes.
I think because we can feel our bodies more when we like have food in us and our body's digesting, that we're not going to get too lost up in the stratosphere. Last time we had a trip, we ate like 20 apples.
Yes. Oh my God, we did.
We ate so many apples.
Was it here?
It was here. Yeah, we were right here. Right here.
Such a good
and that was an amazing trip. That's the blue one.
Yes. Oh,
that was so good. And then we both had the same thought of, no wonder Eve ate the apple.
Yes.
I said that out loud and she was like, I was just gonna say that. Because we had like 20 apples.
We did do that when you were together. Oh my God. The apples were bussin'.
So have lots of fruit on mushrooms.
Yeah, so I love chocolate croissants on mushrooms too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kelly, not so much, but the apples, that's going to be a staple.
That's a staple.
Yeah. I love that. Oh my God. Guys. It's given they were taken on a...
Oh my God. We hope you enjoyed. Yes. You learned a lot about us today.
Girl. Kidnapping. Trafficking, abuse, DD work, clapping. Yo, if you're here after this episode,
Plan B.
Passing out, girl. Oh my God, this episode embodies us, and if you're here, you will be, because it's giving why the heck not. But very slay if you're here after this and you're like, I want more. You're a baddie. You're a queen, literally. With that being said, oh my God, you can follow us, the podcast on Instagram, girl.pod.
Yes, and you can follow Colleen at Shamama Colleen.
Yeah, and Kelly, Calivate _.
Hey, and we will see you in the next episode.
Yes!